Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's another episode of Fertility Talk. And today we're talking to Dr. Pottow, and she is from Cape Fertility. She's a fertility specialist. Sorry. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Pottow. We always love having you. And yeah, always taking your time out to do the talks with us. So welcome. And then we also have Rizana. Again, Rizana, welcome back.
Hi, everyone.
But Dr. Pottow, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and what it is that you do.
Perfect. So good afternoon to everyone, and thank you, Leanne and Rizana, for inviting me to talk in these very, very interesting little sessions, which I think give a lot of context to, there's a lot of information out there about fertility, and you just honing it in on specific topics is wonderful for patients. So to start, my name is Dr. Jo Pottow. I am a reproductive medicine specialist, which just means I'm a gynecologist that is subspecialized just in helping people have babies, so reproductive years of their life. It does not mean we only do IVF. I think a lot of people have that misconception that if you see a reproductive medicine specialist, you're signing up for IVF. Not at all. There are lots of different ways and means to the end point, and the end point being the baby. But yes, I'm based at Cape Fertility. There are 5 reproductive medicine specialists here based at Cape Fertility in Claremont, Cape Town, South Africa. So we've got an active website. It's easy to reach out to us and pop us an email if we could help you in any way.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Doctor. So today we're talking about the egg. And I don't want to say it's all about the egg.
No.
But yeah, so you've got a great way. Yeah, we had a talk, we had a group session, or what do we call it, Rizana? A support group session a couple of months ago, and you did this talk about the egg. So every time I look at speckled eggs, I'm looking at them a bit differently now. And I'm always looking for the pink egg, so I'm not going to give too much away without saying that. And yeah, we're going to have a talk about the egg. And yeah, over to you, Doctor.
Perfect. So I think the one thing about that I'm very passionate about is teaching couples and women specifically about their eggs, because there's a lot of information out there. And at the end of the day, that's just it. We need 3 things to have a baby: sperm, egg, and a uterus, a good place to grow it. And so you can see it's a third of this whole very important process. But I think the big thing to realize that out of these 3, it's the one thing that we cannot manipulate. Men make sperm every minute, and the sperm they're making today takes on average around about 70 days to mature. They ejaculate, and that's the sperm that you get. So in that, you can see that if there's something wrong with the sperm, we've got ways and means to assist to improve sperm outcome, because it's brand new sperm that's being made. Eggs, on the other hand, women are born with their eggs. We have no way of making them. And to try and get the analogy across, I always use this famous picture. And the reason is, and we will come back to it a few times, it's that because the basket you are given of eggs, that's your eggs. So it's not like sperm. So back to my 3 things: sperm we can improve. A uterus, if we've got issues with the uterus, if the muscle and the cavity inside is not ideal, we have ways of improving it. If there are humps and bumps and growths, we can cut them out. And the uterus is a very forgiving little organ. It's a muscle. If we train it, it can work. So you can see of those 3 variables, sperm, egg, uterus, we can fix. Sperm we can improve. But eggs, it's what we've got. So we have to now see, and that's where for me it becomes, when we say it's all about the egg, it's really about the fact that this is the one factor that we cannot manipulate. It is what it is. We're born with it. And that's what gives a woman's ability to have a baby, is what basket, what eggs. So if we think of it in another way in a way, it's quite beautiful. Nature doesn't discriminate. It almost seems to give us all the same amount of good eggs. And that's why we're going to come back to this. For me, this is a 20-year-old, lovely big basket of pink and all multiple colors of eggs. This is a 30-year-old, and this is a 40-year-old. So 20, 30, 40. You can see the number of eggs has declined, and all of us will agree that as we age, so our egg quantity decreases. But more importantly for me, can you see the pink eggs? Can you see the pink? There's much less. And look at this poor little pink egg here sitting in the 40-year-old basket. Pink eggs make babies, and that's how we have to see it. So the big thing for me is when women talk about egg quality, the word quality infers you can improve something. If you have poor quality, that means we could increase it to be good quality. But the one thing we cannot do with eggs, when you are 45, when people say, I want to improve my egg quality, the only thing that's going to do that is a time capsule that takes you back in time and gives you back your pink eggs. Because it doesn't matter what we eat, what we drink, how much we exercise. We can be the picture of health, but we cannot turn a green egg into a pink. Pink is a finite number. So if you go back to this diagram and you think, well, how does the ovary work? When your period starts, a selection of eggs has been made, but this has been made randomly. It's almost, if you think of it, this is just the analogy. I promise it's not that there's someone in your ovary that goes and hooks out little eggs, but it goes you. It literally randomly chooses some eggs, lines them up and says, on your marks, get set, go. These little eggs have a race. And the one that gets to the finish line is the one that ovulates. So we need step 1, a pink egg to be chosen. And step 2, that one has to win the race. So that's why we say to couples, take 6 months to try and achieve a pregnancy. Why? Because women don't ovulate pink eggs every month. You have a selection, but there might be some months where the pink egg never won the race, and that's normal. But within a 6-month period, and especially within a year period of somebody being under 35, definitely you have ovulated a normal egg in that time, if not much more. The younger you are, the more pink eggs, the higher the chance of selection of that egg to run the race, and the higher the chance you have of that pink egg winning the race. Now the ovary is clever. The smaller the basket, because when we ovulate, we lose all those eggs running the race. You ovulate one egg, but the others effectively die. They don't go back into the basket for reselection. And that's why as time, our basket of eggs gets smaller. But the ovary is clever. It wants this basket to last all the way through till around 48 to 52. Eggs, not pink eggs. And that's menopause, 48 to 52, when your basket is finished. So as the basket's smaller, so the ovary is going to choose less to run the race. It's not going to be so generous and say you. When it's here, it's going to be like you. And when it's here, it might be saying you. On your marks, get set, go. So you can see, not only do we have less pink eggs, the chance of selection is smaller, or the chance is much less per month as we get older. And that's why having a baby as we get older, it is all about the egg. So if there's one thing that you can remember, yes, we are all given the same amount of pink eggs. Nature doesn't discriminate. When we are young and when we are 25, we have a good chance of conception. when we are all in our early 40s, 42, 43, we have a very low chance. I'm talking in the range of 2 to 5% chance of finding a pink egg. And that's for every woman. Doesn't discriminate, it's there. And you join the dots from a high age down. And that's the story of the pink egg.
Yeah.
So I hope on every woman's journey, they find that pink egg. And that's what we, the pink egg race, as I call it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Doctor.
There was one question I'd like to ask about that. When we did the talk the last time, you actually explained about IVF and the pink egg. So it's like, every month, why some IVFs would fail. And it's all about the pink egg as well. So maybe if you can just explain that shortly for us, please.
Sure. And then just on that, so before, a lot of people will go, like when I explained, I don't want to take away from the fact that lifestyle, diet, supplements aren't good. They are. Believe me, I want Barbie pink. I don't want baby. But, we don't want that pink egg smoking a box of cigarettes, drinking a bottle of whiskey, only eating fried food. You're not doing any benefit. I think it's just the converse is a lot of women put a lot of self-blame of, I haven't been healthy enough. I'm not trying hard enough to improve egg quality. And sometimes it's just come down to the fact that we've left it too late. There are very few pink, if not maybe no pink left in the basket. And it is not about the more you do. You could go and sit on an ashram and meditate for a year. You're not going to turn your blue, yellow, and green eggs into pink. So time is of the essence. And especially after the age of 37, it's a rapid decline. I say to all my patients here, I'm Cape Town based, so I think of Cape Town and Table Mountain. It's very much, the graph looks similar to Table Mountain. I just need Table Mountain to slant. From 27 to 37, we know the egg quality or the amount of pink eggs is less. But 37 to 42, it's like we're falling off the side of Table Mountain. So each month, each year makes a big difference when we're sitting in that 5-year bracket. And when you think of it like that, we're waiting for the pink egg. And I said to you, 1 egg wins the race a month. That's the one that obviously. So when we're trying naturally or we're trying with artificial insemination, we actually coming down to that 1 egg. It's what egg won the race. In IVF, what we're doing is we cannot interfere. When we hear people saying, oh, I went and got X amount of eggs and my friend got 20 eggs and I only got 10. We're in nature's hands. It's not the drugs you use. It's not the person who gives it to you. It's literally how many eggs did your ovary choose to run that race? Once the ovary is chosen and said on your marks, get set, go, our IVF medication literally goes come, and pushes all those little eggs in the race to the end. It's wonderful if they hold hands and run the race together and grow at the same speed. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're all over the show. Doesn't matter. We try and herd the majority to the finish line so we can pick them all up, because then it becomes statistics. If I've got 10 eggs that were running the race and I can collect them, I've got a much higher chance of finding 1 pink in this 10 than if I'm just dealing with 1 egg on the finish line. And that is why IVF gives you a higher chance of a pregnancy rate, through no other reason but that we're getting more eggs per time that you're doing it. So yes, sometimes we're doing IVF because it's male factor. The sperm cannot physically get to that egg. But you can see how if we're taking 10 eggs as opposed to 1, statistically how it increases our chances of finding the normal egg and then putting it with sperm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Doctor, for that. I don't know, Razani, have you got a question for Doctor?
I don't actually have questions because doctors answered all my questions.
Sorry.
She's covered everything. So I think, yeah, I don't have any questions. I was going to ask about quality. I was going to ask about the age. But you've covered it all, doctor.
I think the thing is, when we think in this, we've got to take the guilt away from women. We carry far too much guilt of, I could have done more, or I did something that I shouldn't have been doing. No, the only thing we need to do is educate women now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Egg freezing. If you're not in a space, not in a relationship, not ready for children, our eggs don't wait for us. So you have to put those on ice, because the age you freeze the eggs is the age we get to. That's their age. So it's my statistical ability to get that pink egg.
Yeah.
And it's also giving your future self a choice, you know, in terms of I may not have someone now, but in the future I might meet somebody, and then I have a choice of whether I want to have a baby or not.
100%. And also what we see a lot of is this, most people, everyone's got a different perception, but most people are wanting to have more than one child.
That's true, doctor.
I always say to everybody, you know, here we get told, no, get the right career, study, find the right person, you know, get a better job, travel, don't settle down, you're far too young. And with all this information, it's forcing us to go and try and have all our children and dig out of this basket as opposed to this basket. So you hear it when our grannies say, oh, infertility is a new disease. In our day, didn't exist. Everyone could have a baby. But everyone was digging out of this basket. They were all 20, 25, having a baby. They weren't.
But yet they were the ones that advised us to wait. That's the irony of the whole thing.
Exactly. And I'm certainly not advocating for a 16-year-old to go and have a baby. No, I think you've got a beautiful chance of finding lovely pink eggs from 25 to 35. You've got to think of future planning. If the new guidelines in the UK are coming out and saying that if you by the age of 28 are not thinking and forward projecting of having a family, you should consider freezing your eggs in your early 30s. Because if you're going to try for baby number 1 at 36, it might be easy. But baby number 2 at 38, 39, remember I said you're falling off Table Mountain. Now you're halfway down. And that's where now we're trying to find the second egg. And it's so many, you hear those stories. Baby number 1 was so easy, and now I can't fall pregnant for baby number 2. And I'm not, of course, I'm simplifying it down. I'm making it about the egg. Of course, you cannot discount sperm, uterus, tubes. Those all have to be tick, 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 and make sure that's fine. But at the end of the day, our rate limiting step is our basket. Know your basket, know where you're at. And I think another thing, just as a sideline, people always say, but I've done an AMH. It's a blood test. My gynae's done my AMH and says, I've got the basket of a 20-year-old and I'm 40. Lucky you were given a bigger basket of eggs to start with. But you weren't given more pink. You've got the same age, same chance of falling pregnant as every 40-year-old. So don't be disillusioned. And I hear that in women and they go, but I went for a check and my gynae said everything was fine and my AMH was perfect. It's your age that tells you, because your age is telling you how many pink eggs you have. Your AMH is just saying how big your basket is.
Okay. Thank you very much, Doctor. And I really appreciate you taking time out to do this. I know you've been very busy and we've been struggling to get a spot for you. But I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry that I've come out of theatre. I'm in my scrubs. I'm sorry, but give me an opportunity to
you
talk
look
about pink eggs.
fabulous, girl. That's you look fabulous. Yeah, so thank you. I think this is very important because what I was hearing when we did the talk the last time also, it's like it was just, everything was just clear to me then, because people would say, oh, I've been trying for a few months and it hasn't worked. I'm taking all the wrong things. And sometimes we tend to blame the doctors. The doctor didn't do something right because my egg was perfect. Everything else is perfect. But now by hearing this, we're hearing, okay, there's obviously, it's an egg, there's the egg that is that one pink egg that they're all looking for. So thank you very much. I really appreciate this. And if they want to get hold of you, they can get hold of you through your website?
Yes, 100% on www.capefertility.co.za. There is all 5 of us, the doctors that are here. Our photos are there. It's an easy link. Send us an email and we'll set up a consultation and help you find that pink egg.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rizana, for joining us as well.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye.
Only a pleasure. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.